From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
And good morning. It is 6 o'clock. You're watching Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, August 16th. We're getting into breaking news this morning, learning new details about a shooting at Montana Fair overnight. Our Diane Parker is reporting live from the scene. Good morning, Diane. What can you tell us? You got some new details for us.
Yeah, good morning, Andrea. Well, we are out here at the fair, as you said, and the front gates are right here. This is where people will come and buy tickets. There's a lot of questions this morning. We do know a lot of information, but there's also a lot that we don't know. We've been working overnight to confirm this information for you. What we know right now, a lot of folks out there listening, they're going to want to know, can they bring their kids to the fair? Is it safe to bring the kids to the fair? Is there an investigation going on? Well, we have reached out to Metro Park General Manager Tim Goodrich. We're hoping to have him on the show a little bit later this morning for that official statement. Right now, that is some of what we don't know. What we do know is that I reached out to Sheriff Mike Linder this morning, and he tells us that there was in fact a shooting. He spoke with his deputies, and he will be meeting with detectives again this morning around 7 o'clock to find out more information. What we know right now, though, is that a young adult, a young man, was shot in the leg. So Sheriff Linder says this is probably not a life-threatening injury. We don't know if that was a teenager or an adult, but a young male, he says. And also, we are hearing from witnesses that the shooting was potentially in the children's area at the fair, and we are waiting to get more information confirmed on that, but that is coming from witness reports as well. Sheriff Linder tells us that last night there wasn't a lot of cooperations with the sheriff deputies and witnesses, and they had not confirmed who the shooter was at that point either. So there is a lot of information we are awaiting, and we should know more after the sheriff meets with the detectives this morning at 7. And again, that official statement waiting to come from Metro Park a little bit later today. That's it from out here, Andrea. I will send it back to you.
All right, Diane, I'm just curious. We were taking a live look over the fair. Do you see deputies out there right now still doing their investigation? Are they on scene?
Okay, so what we see on scene out here is there is a sheriff's, I'm assuming it's an investigation vehicle. I didn't see a lot of action with people out here working the scene, but I did see that the huge sheriff's vehicle was parked out here. So there's probably still investigation and things going on, and they may have gone home for the evening and coming back later today. That's my best guess as of right now, Andrea.
Diane Parker reporting live from us this morning. Okay, we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Okay, we have some other news to get to. More details on last weekend's police shooting in Billings. A 22-year-old man is in the hospital in critical condition this morning, making this the fourth suspect shot by officers just this year. As Q2's Casey Conlon reports, the incident started with reports of domestic violence.
Shortly after 11 p.m. Friday night, Billings police officer Ryland Nelson fired a single gunshot that hit the suspect right here in this alley off of 6th Street West, in between Avenue F and Park Hill Drive.
My bedroom was most beautiful psychedelic red and blue you ever saw.
The shot happened right outside Richard Rockwell's bedroom window, about 30 minutes after he had fallen fast asleep.
I got woke up by a batch of yelling and screaming, and right after that, I heard the gunshot go off.
Our officers made every attempt to resolve this.
Police Chief Rich St. John walked the public through the incident Monday morning. Officers originally responded to a duplex on the 1800 block of 6th after neighbors called saying a woman was with them after an argument with her highly intoxicated boyfriend in the apartment next door.
Shortly thereafter, officers heard a single gunshot.
Minutes later, the suspect, a 22-year-old white man, emerged with a cell phone in his hand.
They gave him instructions to stop and get on the ground. The suspect refused to comply and walked off the porch and onto the sidewalk, where he began to head north.
Officers then noticed a gun was tucked into the suspect's waistband. Police say the suspect told them he was going to put the gun on the ground. Officers told him not to touch it, but they say again he didn't comply.
He grabbed the gun and began to pull it from his waistband. At that point, Officer Ryland Nelson fired one round from his department-issued handgun at the suspect, striking him in the lower abdomen.
This is Nelson's second officer-involved shooting in 2 years. He was one of 2 officers who fired fatal shots at Cole Stump in October 2020, an incident that was ruled justifiable homicide by a coroner's inquest earlier this year. St. John said this suspect left his officers no choice.
The suspect was directed to get on the ground, stop moving, show his hands, and don't touch the gun a total of 73 times. 73 times we've given those instructions and failed to comply.
Police are not releasing the name of the suspect because no arrests have been made as of yet. In Billings, Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Okay, taking a break from all of that news to get to the weather. We have our Miller Robson here. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Andrea.
Yeah.
Ready for some hot days?
I think so. I think I can do it.
Ready or not.
That's what's on tap, right?
Yeah, next couple of days going to be our hottest days of the week, but hang in there. We do have a cool down on the way, and we'll tell you more about that coming up with the main forecast here in just a bit. 92 for the high yesterday. We called 92. That's what we got, 6 degrees above the norm. Overnight low of 63, so another mild start. It's another mild start out there this morning as well. Now, we didn't get any of those storms really here in Billings to the north of us, but we did get some of the wind coming off of those storms. Top gust of 34 at the airport yesterday. For the month, we've just got over 4/10 of an inch of rain for the year, 12 inches. So we're kind of on par where we should be for the month, still ahead for the year. So we're still in pretty good condition in terms of the moisture out there. A great shot this morning from the Stockman Bank weather cam, sitting at 63 at the airport. Humidity 65%, dew points 51. Winds out the southwest at about 5 miles an hour. So 50s and 60s out there to start for the most part. Highs today mainly in the 90s, mid to upper 90s in some spots. 2 hot days before that cool down. We'll tell you about that. And when could we see more rain coming up in just a bit?
Yeah, so you just have 2 days to get through it. You can get through it. We can all get through it.
Hang in there.
We can hang in there.
Yeah.
All right, Miller, thanks so much. Okay, the future of Billings' new Bikini Barista coffee shop is in question this morning as a group of residents are bringing some complaints to City Council. Steady Grinding opened in the Heights back in July, and the health department conducted an inspection but didn't find any code violations. And under city laws, the business is not considered sexually oriented. And after formal complaints, City Council members now have important decisions to make.
First step would be our city council determining, do they want to adopt something along the lines that would prevent this kind of a business?
If they were to enforce a dress code, they'd have to enforce a dress code at pools. They would have to enforce a dress code at, community car washes. It's not just this place.
Bikini baristas in other states have faced similar backlash. In fact, in Everett, Washington, that city implemented a dress code. Those employees there are fighting back now. The ordinance is now in court. Voting rights are taking center stage this week in a district courtroom in Billings. A judge listening to arguments from the state of Montana and activists suing to overturn new election laws. And for more on that trial, here's Q2's Jackie Coffin.
There's a lot of attention right now on the courtroom of Judge Michael G. Moses here in Yellowstone County District Court as he ponders the fate of 3 controversial voting laws, but that decision is still a few weeks out.
Time set for trial.
Many across Montana will be closely watching what happens inside this Billings courtroom over the next 2 weeks. 11 plaintiffs are suing Montana's Secretary of State Christy Jacobson, including the Montana Democratic Party and Western Native Voice, claiming 3 new laws passed during the 2021 legislative session violate Montanans' constitutional rights.
And that democracy is better when more eligible voters can access the franchise. And that's what this case is about. And we believe that when the court hears all of the testimony and evidence in this matter, it will come to one and only conclusion that these 3 statutes are constitutional.
Together, the laws end same-day voter registration, require students use other forms of identification if they're using student IDs while voting, and ban people from getting paid to collect and turn in ballots on behalf of others. The bills immediately drew legal challenge from voting rights groups who say all of them make it harder for certain Montanans to vote, especially young people and Native Americans.
What is not okay is to needlessly complicate the fundamentals of a democratic system. And what is far from okay is to make that complication affect particularly one portion of the population.
But the state argues the changes were long overdue, claiming the laws make Montana elections safer, reduce fraud and error, and actually improve accessibility.
Paid ballot collection, especially by partisan organizations, has the potential to undermine voter confidence in the security and integrity of elections in Montana.
The next 2 weeks of the trial will largely center around witness testimony. Those 3 new laws are already in place, while their future is debated in court. In Billings, Jackie Coffin, MTN News.
And happening today, incumbent Liz Cheney is likely facing defeat in Wyoming's primary election. The gap between her and Harriet Hageman is continuing to grow. A new poll out this morning shows her trailing by 30%. Former President Trump worked to oust Cheney since she voted to impeach him after the January 6th Capitol Hill riot. Well, the Justice Department wants to keep the Mar-a-Lago search warrant affidavit sealed. Several media organizations have asked a federal judge to release that document that led to the search at the former president's Florida home. But the DOJ says doing so would jeopardize its ongoing criminal investigation. Meanwhile, FBI agents remain on high alert following online threats of violence against law enforcement. Trump says that he is offering any help to stop that violence. Our President Biden will sign the Inflation Reduction Act into law today. The sprawling bill provides nearly $370 billion to fight climate change, and it also establishes a minimum 15% income tax on large corporations. Drug makers are launching new medicines at record high prices. Right now, the average cost for new medication is $257,000, and drugs launched this year were priced at more than $200,000. Pharmaceutical companies say these prices reflect their value to patients, preventing costly emergency visits and hospital stays. Drug makers also say they don't determine what patients end up paying for their drugs. Well, the city of Laurel is working to improve its notification system after residents were not properly warned about problems with the drinking water. As Q2's David J. tells us, many residents didn't find out about the problem until it was already fixed.
Our water is something most of us take for granted, but when something goes wrong, it can quickly lead to a flood of problems. When rivers started to spill their banks back in June, that triggered high turbidity levels at the Laurel water treatment plant.
Turbidity basically is defined as the cloudiness of water.
While not necessarily dangerous, the city of Laurel issued a health advisory notice and was required to notify the Department of Environmental Quality. But the DEQ says that did not happen.
If we had been notified at the time, the advisory or the public notice that you're, seeing now would have been issued then.
I think everyone is mostly just worried about that. It took a month to be notified that there was something wrong with the water.
Several residents took to social media complaining about the lack of notice, especially after later reading the health advisory, which states people with severely compromised immune systems, infants, and some elderly may be at increased risk.
It seemed to concern quite a few citizens. Mostly, people were a little concerned about their health, especially because the paperwork eventually came with a warning.
You want to be able to tell your consumers that, hey, we don't have any confirmation that there is a problem with the water, but everybody's health conditions, backgrounds are different, and you need to make those decisions on an individual basis.
MTN has reached out repeatedly to Laurel city leaders to ask about the breakdown in communication. The city has declined to comment, but tells us it does not believe the safety of drinking water was compromised, and it promises the Public Works Department has corrected the problem.
It was more of a personnel misunderstanding or miscommunication, and my understanding is they've taken care of that.
In Laurel, David J., MTN News.